Welcome to the kitchen sink, your source for any and everything going on in the world. I am your journey guide and host, Mark Jenkins, aka P. And each week for 90 minutes, I will take you on a trip around the globe, touching on any and everything, any topic that needs to be addressed, anything. This show will be entertaining, informative, respectful, and riveting. The show will be real, raw, and unfiltered. However, as I said, it will be respectful. With that being said, there are certain things that can't be said on this show. First and foremost, no use of the M-bomb. We don't tolerate that here. Second, no use of the F-bomb. And I don't give a fuck if you say fuck. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about the F-bomb that's disrespectful to certain people. And nothing discriminative or wrong towards any type of people will be tolerated on this show. Third, no disrespect to anyone's ideas or what they're trying to do. It's all about positivity and promotion here on the kitchen sink. And fourth, last but not least, no invitations to the Frank stand. If you don't know what that means, Google it. But we don't do that here either. And now, let's go ahead and get things started on episode 3, third time's the charm. All right, it's good to be back after a week off hiatus. Last week, we early show, trying to get things fluid and everything like that. So just trying to really figure out what's the best day. And I think Wednesdays will be a better day. I was contemplating, full disclosure, because that's what this is going to be about, is full disclosure with everything. I'm not going up against Monday Night Football. So I thought Monday was a good idea at first. Last Monday, it was the NBA Finals. This Monday, it was the NHL Finals. So just Mondays, that's not going to be the day. Wednesdays, I think we're going to settle on that day, and we'll see going forward. It's all up to you guys. The more we grow this, the more you guys are going to be a part and have a voice in this and let me know what's the best day for y'all to tap in and check in. But I appreciate y'all, for, sticking in, hanging in there. And let's just keep it rolling, man, for real. But let's kick things off like how we normally do and just kind of go around the world. So I alluded to this already, and, I'm going to go a little bit deeper into it real quick. But shout out to, as much as this is about to pain me to say, but the Boston Celtics for their 18th NBA championship. Jaylen Brown held the series, finals MVP. Celtics looked great all year, and they went ahead and they did the damn thing, and they took home the chip. So shout out to them. Second, shout out to the Florida Panthers for winning the Stanley Cup Finals. That was crazy just because of the fact that, if you really think about it, they were on the verge of setting history in a real ominous way, but they were lucky enough to kind of gather their bearings and pull it out when it mattered the most. But seriously, they went down 3-0 in that series, and they went up 3-0 in the series, I'm sorry. And then all of a sudden they let Edmonton come back and tie the series 3-3. And here we go going into game 7, thinking that we're about to see something that has never happened in the NBA, has happened 4 times previously in the NHL, and happened 1 time in MLB. That I don't even remember. That time, to me, as a Yankee fan, you see the hat in the back. Respect. Shout out to the 27-time champions. But that time in 2004 doesn't even exist to me in baseball. But basically, it only happened 5 times in the history of 7 series playoff sporting events, 7-game series. Sorry, and Florida was able to pull out all of their stones, so to speak, and make it happen with a 2-1 victory in Game 7 to win their first Stanley Cup in franchise history. So shout out to them for that, seriously. But back to the NBA Finals, the Celtics were dominant all year. They looked dominant in this series as well. I mean, Dallas didn't really put much of a fight up. They got one game. That's pretty much status quo with the Celtics in this playoff series, this whole playoff run. And I think that is kind of crazy. We always talk about like 7 degrees of separation and kind of different things like that when it comes to, different things in life. But I think that this is crazy that Jason Tatum, star forward on the Celtics, and Matthew Chuck, star forward on the Florida Panthers, they went to high school together in St. Louis. I think it was Chaminade High School in St. Louis. And it's crazy because they went to school together. They were friends together. I actually saw a video of them on Instagram where they were just kind of kicking it, chilling, and talking about each other. And talk about like 7 degrees of separation. You guys both go ahead, achieve your goals, get to championships in your respective sports, basically top of the mountain in your professions. And isn't that what we all want to do, is just, have that mate, have that buddy, have that pal, whatever you want to call it. Just, you and that person just achieve greatness, and for it to happen like within a span of a week of each other, like shout out to them. I hope that they do it up big and do something good with each other, just because that's special to me, man. That brings a smile on my face personally. But moving along, we're going to kind of move off of that real quick. I want to talk about a couple of things in the news that I saw that I thought were a little bit crazy. And basically, the first one was, and I didn't even know about this. My bro Jay, this is Jay. Shout out to This Is Jay. He's a friend of the program for sure. But he actually told me that like there was a crazy situation that happened. So it was an elephant who had like kind of crushed a man and like crushed him to death. So like I didn't hear about it, so I went ahead and did a little bit of research on it. And it's crazy because so this happened in southern India. The article that I pulled up. Okay, so it actually says it here. I apologize in advance if I butcher this, but it was at the Kerala farm in Idukki, in the Idukki district of southern India. There was a gentleman who, I guess he had a strange affinity for elephants. I don't know. That's the only way I can put it. Once I go a little bit more on it, you can possibly understand what I mean. But he faked himself as like a trainer to get into the pit with the elephant. And according to the article, and I'm not gonna paraphrase, I'm gonna go ahead and read this really quickly. An elephant crushed a zookeeper to death after being poked with a stick. 62-year-old man was killed in front of Shop Park visitors. Illegal elephant safari. So it was an illegal elephant safari. Okay, so I didn't even. Wow, this blows my mind even more. Okay, so I guess we got illegal elephant safaris happening in the world. I didn't even know about that. Pardon me for not reading that part of the article. Yeah, wow. Okay, so he poked the elephant with his stick, and apparently he was trampled by the elephant. He stepped on the victim's leg, then he stepped on his shoulders, and then his face repeatedly, and trampled him until he died. So, yeah, I wasn't ready for that. My fault, y'all. Like I slightly perused that article. I did not go. I wasn't ready for that. So it's a whole illegal operation. Man, I'm sorry for that gentleman who lost his life. I don't mean to make light of that. I wasn't ready to laugh like that until I saw that it was illegal. So I apologize for that. But wow, that's kind of crazy. So yeah. Let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. This one was kind of crazy. So I read this. I'm always on AP reading different things. A military history buff in China came up on something crazy. Confidential military documents So this individual wound up getting some confidential military documents at a neighborhood recycling station, and he paid $1 for these 4 books. They were 4 books that were just like disheveled, discarded. They looked terrible. Nobody cared about them, and wound up in this recycling station. And gentlemen purchased them for $1, and they had these secrets. And like this happened over in Beijing. Like I said, I can't imagine if something like that happened here. Like that's scary. I feel sorry for the people over there because like how can you I don't know. How can you feel comfortable knowing that military secrets are just being thrown around and put in this situation? And the gentleman who came upon these, his name, they didn't give out his first name. He only wanted to identify himself by his family name, which is Zhang. This is a quote. Mr. Zhang thought to himself that he had bought the country's military secrets and brought them home. But if someone with ulterior motives were to buy them, the consequences would be unimaginable. So that's a quote from a post that was put on the country's Ministry of State of Security social media. Didn't say what social media platform it was on, but that's kind of alarming that something like that would happen. I hope that that doesn't happen over here. I hope that doesn't happen anywhere because, like, seriously, could you imagine if, like, I don't know, like Skeletor or Krang or some evil villain genius in real life were to come upon something like this and what that could mean for the world? Like, yeah, I don't know. Seriously, we got to do better when it comes to stuff like that. That's crazy. Moving on. Mount Vernon here on U.S. soil. It's happening in Mount Vernon, not New York. So all my New Yorkers out there. Mount Vernon, Virginia is where this occurred. George Washington, there was a cherry tree discovered by someone that had some cherries that George Washington apparently may or may have not cut down the tree, and this may or may have not been his fruit. So basically, it was on his property, a property that he owned in that area. And dozens of bottles of cherries and berries that were impossibly preserved in storage pits were uncovered from the cellar of the mansion that George Washington owned on the banks of the Potomac River. Shout out to my VA peeps out there, the Potomac River. But this is crazy. This was discovered during an archaeological dig connected with a restoration project they're going to do in the area. Gentleman named Jason Burrows, who is Mount Vernon's principal archaeologist, he said that the discovery of such perfectly preserved food from more than 250 years ago is essentially unprecedented. Finding, this is a direct quote from him right here, finding what is essentially fresh fruit 250 years later is pretty spectacular, Burrows said in an interview. All the stars sort of have to align in the right manner for this to happen. That's crazy, you guys. Like something like that can happen. Could you imagine like preserving something and 250 years later someone would enjoy it? Like if that's a thing, like seriously, I want to preserve the dankest strain that I could find right now and figure out a way to preserve it so that way 250 years from now somebody could be like, yo, this is fire. Like I can't believe this is what they had back then. Like granted, they probably have even greater stuff than, but I digress. All right. So last but not least, going to kind of go back to sports real quick. And I just want to touch on, as a Brooklyn Nets fan, the Mikal Bridges trade, because that's kind of crazy to me. I, for one, love it because it's huge for the franchise. And let's rewind real quick. Last night, Knicks and Nets made their first trade with each other since 1983. So these teams don't trade with each other. They don't play nice in the sandbox. We already know this. Anybody that's from New York or from the tri-state area knows the Knicks and the Nets don't play nice in the sandbox with each other. And this is the first time a trade's happened in 41 years, but the Brooklyn Nets traded Mikal Bridges to the Knicks in exchange for Bogdan Bogdanovic, 5 first-round draft picks, a first-round pick swap, and a second-round selection. That's crazy, you guys, because simply put, Mikal Bridges to get that type of a haul back, like that's the type of haul that future Hall of Famers, perennial all-stars get. Like if you look back at the trade that got Mikal Bridges to Brooklyn, it was Kevin Durant, TJ Warren to the Suns for Mikal Bridges, Cameron Johnson, and I think it was like 3 first-round draft picks or something like that. To me, I think the Nets got an even better deal than the Suns got for him. So I applaud this deal. He showed last year he's not going to be the face of a franchise, the type of guy that's going to carry a team, that's going to be able to put a team on his back, get a bucket when he needs to, get a stop when he needs to, as that guy. Like, I'm not saying he's a bad player at all. I think he is a terrific number 3 option on a team, which he probably will be for the Knicks. But he wasn't that type of guy. So to get 5 first-round picks, a first-round pick swap. So essentially, you're getting 5 first-round picks, and you get the better of a pick with this team. If it's your team, your pick or their pick, you get the better of that pick in that draft, whatever year that is, and a second-round pick. Not to mention, you get a knockdown shooter in Bogdanovic that if the Nets are in full rebuild mode, like I know they are now after this move, you're going to be able to trade Bogey sometime middle of the season and get another first-round pick for him. So you're going to wind up with 6 first-round picks from this deal. So shout out to, and I am shocked as fuck that I'm about to say this, but shout out to Sean Marks for actually going to work today. You went to work today, goddammit. Shout out to you. But now, last but not least, I'm going to go ahead and pivot to my last thing. I had to say that real quick. The last topic that I want to talk about here is Netflix is taking over the world. I don't know if y'all realize that. Everybody's focused on Amazon taking over the world, and absolutely that's happening. But Netflix is taking over the world. So they are opening 2 entertainment, dining, and shopping complexes in 2025. I don't know if you guys might have missed this, but I caught this and I had to share this with everybody. But they're announcing 2 cities with this thing coming up, and that's going to be Dallas. Shout out to Dallas, even though they choke in every major way in sports, and King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. Those 2 cities are going to receive these new entertainment, dining, and shopping complexes. So basically, it sounds like a mall on steroids, Netflix style. And I think that this is going to be huge for not only Netflix, but again, kind of just pushing the narrative of cutting the cords. Like, perfect example, if there wasn't a need and want for this type of entertainment, I wouldn't even be sitting here doing this now. So there's want and need for more than just sitting in front of your television and watching cable. So shout out to Netflix for doing this. I think this is huge. Also 2025, they're getting WWE Raw, which is another big thing for them. Like, I wouldn't be surprised really soon, though, if Netflix goes up on their prices even more, because they're already at $25 a month. Like, where they're going to start getting into the realm of like basic cable prices of $50, $60 a month. But I think it probably will have to include some type of, you get a discount at these places that you can go to now, and stuff like that. So shout out to them for that. And we're going to end off that segment there. of the monologue. Kind of ran a little bit over on time, but fuck it. It is what it is. Be back in a second. Yo, shout out to This Is Jay again for lacing that the theme song. The theme song you're gonna hear every week. Shit is fire. Shout out to This Is Jay. Check him at differentworld.com. Check him. But now we're gonna get into the topic of the day. And this is something very near and dear to me. If you're a friend of the program, if you listen for a minute, 3 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, both shows so far, whatever, shout out to you, first and foremost. Thank you. But second of all, y'all know that, if you listen to the show, that I am a big proponent and supporter of women's sports, because they do the damn thing. They do their job. They do what needs to be done. They're amazing. They're wonderful. And they need to, be recognized. And they're not, especially in this country, like they need to. And I need to do more. You need to do more. We all need to do more to really promote this thing and get more people in the seats and the stands, which is going to lead to more revenue for them, which is going to lead to even more exposure, which is going to lead to even more salary. Trickle down effect. I digress. The topic of the day today is, I want to talk about a new women's basketball league that is arising. It is a brewing, and it is making it puts a smile on my face. Like, seriously, it really does. So we all know the WNBA. Shout out to the W. Pioneer in women's sports here in the U.S. However, they're still not getting the job done like they need to. And I'm not talking about the amazing women that are playing the game. Shout out to each and every one of them for doing what they do. I'm talking about the league offices, the sponsors, and also ultimately us as fans. We are not doing what we need to do to make sure that they are in a better position. So I want to, just say that first and foremost. Second of all, I'm happy for what I'm about to read. And it's basically, there's a new women's basketball league coming out, and they're scheduled to begin their inaugural season this January. So less than 6 months, y'all, get ready. And they are looking to not only pay more money than the WNBA, but here's the crazy thing about this, you guys. The league is actually being started, ran, and backed by two current WNBA players. How crazy is that, you guys? Like, seriously. Two WNBA players, Breanna Stewart of the New York Liberty and Napheesa Collier of the Minnesota Lynx, I believe. I'm sorry, I don't have that team right in front of me right now, but I believe that's the team she plays for. They are the two that have founded this league. And the crazy thing about this, you guys, the craziest thing about this is that they are players in the WNBA, but they're going to go ahead and start this league up and be willing to pay more money than the WNBA pays their players, because they first and foremost know how tough it is to be a WNBA player and live off that salary. And two, the second thing, which I think is even more important, is what do most WNBA players do in their off season? So obviously, the way how the league works, if you don't know, is that it's designed to run opposite of the NBA. And the reason why is because many of the WNBA teams occupy facilities that NBA teams play in. Therefore, they can't necessarily play during the NBA season, because how would that work unless they scheduled the games at inopportune times, or if they worked it out to where, well, that's another thought, and I'm gonna table that thought. You guys just actually helped me come up with an idea to think about something, but I'll pitch that later. But basically, like, think about this, right? So they are going to run it opposite, because most of the time, what do these WNBA players do when they are not playing in the WNBA? They're playing overseas. They're playing in China. They're playing in Russia. They're playing, somewhere in Europe or in Asia, because that's where a lot of the bigger basketball leagues are that aren't the NBA or WNBA. So, like, if you really think about that, right? Like, that touches home to me in a big way, because, like, think about this. With the situation that happened with Brittany Griner, right? We all know what happened. She got arrested in Russia with some THC cartridges for a pen. So basically, liquid or oil infused marijuana cartridges. She was arrested and detained in Russia, held for many months. I think it was 10 months to almost a year before she had to be essentially traded. Human bartering in this day and age, like 2023 when this happened, 2024, human bartering still going on. That's a whole different topic that we'll probably discuss on another show. But, like, literally between her and a man, Victor, I cannot remember what his last name was, but I remember his nickname was the Merchant of Death. And he was like an arms dealer that, sold guns, and obviously sold so many guns that he was this big time U.S. target, and they arrested him, locked him up, and he was, a prisoner of ours for I'm not sure how long. But we had to essentially trade him back to Russia for Brittany Griner for some weed cartridges. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's going to be a whole different topic that we'll talk about and discuss on another show. But let's get back to this basketball league, because I digress big time there. But the reason is this will stop these WNBA players, these amazing athletic young women, from having to go overseas and put their lives in jeopardy, put their families in jeopardy by possibly being detained for primitive prehistoric rules that they may have in that country. And also being away from your family, being uncomfortable, being a person, one of the very few people in this country that doesn't speak the language and has to just basically live on everything and stuff like that. But again, I digress. Let's get back into the unrivaled league. This is gonna stop stuff like that from happening. And here's why this thing has legs to me, and I think it's gonna run. The league has garnered support and financial backing from such people as soccer icons Megan Rapinoe and Alex Morgan, Golden State Warriors head coach and former player Steve Nash, former NBA player Carmelo Anthony, as well as Michelle Wie West, women's golfer, Ashton Kutcher, the actor, and the former president of ESPN himself, John Skipper, who is now with Meadowlark Media. They have the financial backing. They have more financial backing possibly than the WNBA, which is the reason why they are able to pay more. So right now, the current average WNBA salary is at $130,000 per year. That's crazy to think that professional athletes make that kind of money. Like, they should make more. I'm sorry, but that's crazy. The way how this league, the Unrivaled League, shout out to the Unrivaled League. We're gonna keep saying unrivaled, unmotherfucking rivaled. They're paying up to $250,000. So you have the chance to possibly double your salary by playing in this league. The reason that these women go over and play in these leagues overseas is because in China, in Russia, all across Europe, all across Asia, they are paying these women $900,000, $1 million US for their services. They see the value in our product more than we see the value. But I think that this Unrivaled League, I pound on the desk and I think that this is the start of a new beginning for women's sports all across. I really think so. So I really hope that we do our parts. Yes, I'm talking all the way into the fucking mic. Yes, we have to do our parts. We have to go out and support. We have to buy tickets. We have to buy merchandise. We have to do all these different things to support, just like we do with men's sports. We have to do the same thing with women's sports. So let's do our part, please. But shout out to Breanna Stewart. Shout out to Napheesa Collier, because I think this is going to be amazing and I can't wait. And as soon as they come to a city near me, I will be at a game. They haven't released the schedule yet. As soon as they release the schedule, you better believe you're going to hear it here on the kitchen sink. You better believe that, because we promote women's sports here on this show. Shout out to them. We're going to take a quick break. Come back with our next segment, one-on-one. Yeah, we back, y'all. So shout out to y'all for listening to the Kitchen Sink podcast. I'm about to bring in a gentleman who is a friend, a confidant, a brother. Man, this dude right here, man, we go back like 8-tracks and Cadillacs if we was even alive in the 70s, but we wasn't. We born in the 80s. Shout out to us 80s babies. But nah, this is my motherfucking brother. I love this dude. He a good dude, and he's doing a lot of good things. So I want to welcome to the stage Big Fam Breezy. What's good, bro?
Yo, man, I appreciate that introduction, man. That was fire right there.
You already know, bro. You know how we do, man. But shout out to you, man. And I'm happy to have you on the show, man. Like, this is an honor and a privilege to have you on the show anytime that I can not only have somebody that I consider a brother, but also somebody that's actually doing good things out there in the world. Like, it's just a double privilege, man. So shout out to you and thank you for being here, man.
Yeah, nah, of course. It is the same feeling is mutual to see somebody that you really know from way back in the day. Like you see them go through all of the phases in their life, see where they are now, see them still healthy, still strong, still living. You know what I'm saying? You don't take any of those things for granted. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Um, so yeah, man, I'm happy to be here, man. I'm
Word,
happy to
bro.
be at the kitchen sink like a sponge.
Happy to have you, bro. So now let's get into it, bro. Let's get into, you know, Big Fan Breezy, Brooklyn Nets vlog, man. Like, doing numbers, man. Like, I watched it from the infancy, and now you doing your numbers. It's growing, man. I've been on the show a bunch of times. Like, it's just it's so organic. It's wonderful. And let's pull the cover back and just tell the world a little bit that's listening right now to the kitchen sink about, what it is that you're doing, man. The big things you're doing over there.
Um, well, you know, I started this podcast because I love basketball, and the Brooklyn Nets moved from Jersey to Brooklyn, and I was just, I was ecstatic. You know what I'm saying? Really excited about it happening. And I was not doing YouTube content for a while. I was on Facebook, and you know what I'm saying? So it kind of grew up into the podcast. I was just doing lives on Facebook, and just the consistency and the love and support that I got from Facebook motivated me to, come to YouTube and continue. So mainly it's a sports podcast, but to be honest, I have to. I feel like I'm choosing my words wisely. I feel like I'm selling my audience short, only doing sports content sometimes. So, if there's something more, how you would say, more important than opposed to sports, I like to bring it to attention because you know I mean, I know YouTube is supposed to be entertaining, but everything isn't entertainment. You know what I'm saying? So there'll be real topics that I feel like we need to discuss. You know, so one of the things with the Puffy situation, we had a conversation about domestic violence. So we spoke on that, and everybody had a stance on how they felt about it. Just certain topics that I feel like you want to hear how people feel. You know what I'm saying? I try to give people a voice to you know what I mean, kind of say how they feel, and in a respectful way, of course. But we have a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie. It's not really that much of a serious podcast. We have more fun than we have serious content, but I do feel a need, like a need to address serious content some of the time, and I do. But I'm not gonna lie, man. We've been having fun, and I gotta say this. Part of my motivation was actually Mark or P, him doing a podcast called Double Play Sports Hour way back in the day. I had
It
did
was a radio show. Not to cut you off real quick. It
oh
was an
yeah,
actual legit radio show.
right, right. It
We
was
sound
it
like
was a
dinosaur ages, but it was
Yeah. Now it was a real radio show. I think it was on a college campus,
Hmm.
and that was my first glance at what it's like to. And again, it's a radio show. It's not a podcast, but I did gain interest in that field from then on. You know what I mean? So shout to P for that. You know what I'm saying? I'm calling him. Should I call you P or should I
Oh,
call you Mark?
yo, bro, in the beginning of the show, I literally say, I am your journey guide and host, Mark Jenkins, aka P. So,
Okay.
whatever is clever, bro. You know me long enough to, so it is what it is, bro.
All right. All right. So yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Jay acts, full disclosure, Jay acts like one episode he was on, if it was a smoking show, he tried to hide the spliff. I'm like, yo, bro, you good. You good. It's just the little rules, no N bombs, no F bombs,
No,
not fuck, but the other F bomb. And don't be disrespectful to other people, and no invitations to the Frank stand. That's it. Those are the only rules.
right. That's universal rules right there. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, shout out to Jay, man. He be on the podcast helping me out a lot with his hilarity. He's probably one of the funniest podcasters on the show. But yeah, man, I like to address content that's serious, or sometimes fans may say, yo, we want you to do this content, and I'll get to it. But I'll be honest with you, as a podcaster, I could tell you as a man, it is good to be able to have an outlet to actually vocalize what you're thinking, vocalizing your thoughts. I feel, as a man, sometimes we internalize how we feel. You know what I'm saying? And we don't really get a chance to talk about it.
Right.
And sometimes, and that shuts you off from just talking or being social. So I like to think that the podcast helps people. There's certain things that happen that motivated me. People are jumping in chat like, yo, you don't know I was going through depression, but listening to you guys making me laugh, or you actually helping me get through it. So I like to think that the podcast is more than entertainment for said reasons. But I enjoy it. The numbers are getting better, but I don't really make money doing it. But I got love for it. You know what I'm saying? I really got love for doing it. It's fun, man. I'm honestly, and I'm glad that you started your podcast. I'm a fan of it. I tune in. I think this is episode 3. I'm happy to be in the top 5 episode. I think I'm in, what is it? This is 3, right?
Yeah, this episode 3, third time's a charm, baby. We got a name
Third
for
3
every
times. Word. But another thing I wanted to talk to you about, and I'll say it here because I know you're an open book. I kind of need your help with the next thing that I'm doing. I got a show called Who Realities,
Yeah.
and I need your help because my character lived from season 1 to season 2. So you know what I mean. I'm gonna clap it up for that. You know what I mean. Clap,
Yo,
clap, clap.
shout out to that for real. And let's plug that real quick before you even dive into a little bit deeper. Let's plug that Realities, man. Tell the people where they can find that and what it's about, and let's go into it.
It's a show called Hoop Realities, like basketball hoop. Hoop Realities is about a show where it shows. All right, so when you today you see the draft, right?
Mhm.
That's the tip of the iceberg. But to actually get to the draft, there's a lot of things that players have to go through before they actually, you know what I mean, and on that stage. Just the life of making it out the hood, some of the trials and tribulations, for lack of better words, of what I mean, being persevering, to what I mean, to stay consistent and get through struggles or jump over hurdles. And it speaks to the life that you are leaving, the realities that you're leaving, or and also the realities that basketball can to help you get to. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, in my opinion, if perspective wise, it's a show that can help you appreciate what a ball player, his walk of life. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily, oh, I'm talented, I get to all of the schools, I get the sneakers and endorsements. It's a little more, you know what I'm saying, a little more trickier than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, So
The behind
it's
the scenes stuff, man, that people don't see. It's just the glitz and glamour people see.
yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna lie, it delves into the street life, and this is why I'm saying on the first season I was a goon, and I lived. You know what I mean? That's the long and short of it. Goons don't live long. You know what I'm saying? In these web series, but I need your help, P, for source material
All right.
because my character got rich in season one, and now he wants to leave the game, so he bought a sports bar.
Mm,
So my character now has a sports bar with all of this money, but the street life is trying to bring him back in.
yeah.
So this is where I need you, P, where you could, help me with the authenticism of being at a bar. You know what I'm saying? In a professional way. You'll meet people through all walks of life, and you'll always, hear what they have to say, and you have words of wisdom, you have words of advice. You probably
Right.
talk people off of the, for lack of better words, talk people off of the edge. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
And full disclosure, real quick, just for y'all listening who may not know, in my past life, I was a bartender and a bar manager for many years. So that's why he's asking. It's not like, I done spent a whole bunch of time at the bar getting drunk. I have spent my fair share of time at happy hour. It's not, but, it's full disclosure. So we all, but now go ahead,
Right.
though. Go ahead, though, bro.
Nah, right,
I have to
but no,
throw that out there real quick.
right. Just at the bar, right? Cheers and type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Like I'm
Actually,
normal shit, man.
right. So me personally, again, like I said, I need somebody with some authenticism because I think authenticism is king. I mean, yeah, I could go in there and act like a bartender, but there's real there's real motivation that I could draw from somebody who actually done it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I need because my thing is with my character, I want to be able to deliver a message every episode. You know what I mean? Even if it's corny, you know what I'm saying? Even if I say, yeah, before you become a Mac, you got to get the cheese. It could be anything. You know what I'm saying? It
Oh,
could be anything. It could be anything, you know what I mean? But I want this to go well, you know what I mean? Like I got the sports bar, so I feel like my character stepped up. I'm still alive, you know what I'm saying? So my character word. So my character, I want him to have words of motivation. People gonna come to the bar, and as you already know, P, you know what I'm saying? They holding on to something and they don't know who to let it go to. And sometimes that bartender is just there for them. And you can build relationships and build bonds with people. You know what I'm saying? You're not just quote unquote selling them drinks. You actually yeah, I know that's the business, that's the professional side of it, but in turn, you may make friends. You may make business associates.
yeah.
A lot of things can transpire from being a bartender. And again, like I said, me personally, I don't drink. You know what I'm saying? So I will probably have to learn how to act drunk. You know what I
Well,
mean? I'm
nah,
gonna
if
have to
you're a
learn.
good bartender, you're not drunk.
Okay.
That's
Uh,
first and foremost. If you
so I
drunk
don't
and
have
you
to
a
learn how to
bartender, you a
drink.
bad bartender. You a shitty bartender. Because one, you fucking up the count, and two, you
Right.
overpouring drinks. So you costing the bar money hand over fist right there. So nah, you
So
don't
you
gotta be drunk to be a good bartender.
right. All right, cool. So yeah, I don't have to learn that part. But
Yeah, see, we
yeah,
good to just put a cover over that real quick. Just don't put the flame out there real quick. That ain't a thing, man.
all right, cool. So yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I'm really excited. We did a scene already. This earlier this spring. We're gonna follow up doing more scenes this summer. Look for it to heat up. You can find it on YouTube. It's called Hoop Realities, and it's gonna be a goodie. You know what I'm saying? It talks about a lot of different walks of life around basketball players, and I again, because I love basketball, I took to it. You know what I'm saying? And just so you know, I actually got this opportunity to actually act for the first time in my life from doing the Big Fan Breezy podcast. You know what I'm saying? I was doing this. I was doing this, and the dude, he's a 76er vlogger. So he was just like, yo, I'm in the film, I'm trying to put something together. I like your energy, yada yada yada, whoop de whoop. And you know what I'm saying? I want you to be part of the show. So I was ecstatic immediately, and I was just like, yeah. And we've been rocking for like, I think a year or two now. So yeah, that's what's going on with me. You know what I mean? And other than that, man, I just be watching Kitchen Sink podcast, man. That's all I'm doing right now.
Yo, bro, shout out to you for supporting the program for sure. And shout out to you for the big things you're doing and you're going to continue to do, man. And before we, segue out of this segment, let the people know again, where they could find you and, just let them know. Promote you, plug you, shine the light on you, man, for real.
I'm on YouTube, Big Fan Breezy with the Brooklyn Nets vlog, or just Big Fan Breezy. I'm on IG too, same handle. I'm on Twitter as well. And you know what I mean? Other than that, y'all probably could catch me, every week in the chat watching this podcast. It's my guy, so you know what I'm saying? But besides my podcast, it's my favorite podcast, you know what I mean? So to subscribe to my podcast and Kitchen Sink, subscribe to our podcast. And again, man, I'm glad you're doing this, man. And I wish the same for you. I wish you nothing but success doing this because, I still feel like you original Dundada. You know what I'm saying? You was doing the radio show. Now you doing this. So I think, it's a easy transition for you, Pete. I think this is going to go really good.
I appreciate that, bro. And just to throw this out there real quick, the way how I'm going to measure my success when it comes to this show is by the success that each and every guest that I'm honored to have come on here, the success that they have, because this platform maybe promoted them to 1 extra person or 10 extra people to 100 extra people or whatever that may be. That's how, at the end of the day, I'm going to measure the success of this program.
Nah, that's what's up. That's what's up, man. I'm gonna be in touch too, man. I'm actually just gonna be in the chat, actually.
No doubt, bro. And we're gonna have the roundtable discussion popping off in about probably 5 to 10 minutes. So if you want to jump back on for that, definitely would gladly have you. Appreciate that. Appreciate you coming back and dropping your 2 cents on there, because we definitely gonna talk about that Mid-Cal Bridges trade a little bit more. And then I already know that's gonna be a topic of discussion.
All right, so when you say 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes, I'm gonna make a move, but just let me go in the studio and I'll just stay in the studio and then bring me back up.
Say no more, bro.
All right, but you said 10 minutes. Give me a specific
minutes. Take a little break real quick, and then we're gonna jump into Kicks Corner, and then we're gonna jump into the round table, man.
All right, copy that. I'll be back soon. Yo, again, thank y'all. Shout out to everybody in the audience that's watching this. Shout out to the podcast. I love this show, man. I'll see y'all soon.
Appreciate you, bro.
All right, later.
Yeah, y'all. So we're going to take a quick break real quick, come back, jump into Kicks Corner. And then after that, we're going to jump into what do you want to talk about? Be right back in a second, y'all. What's up, y'all? We back, and now I'd like to get into a little portion I like to call Kicks Corner. As any friend of the program knows, I am a big sneakerhead, love sneakers, love them. It's not too many things other than like my family, children, moms, family, like everybody like that. Other than them, like not many things make me happier than sneakers. So Kicks Corner is where we like to highlight a sneaker that I actually wear that day and kind of dive into a little bit that we don't know about the sneaker. So today's sneaker, I'm taking it off my foot right now as we speak. The beautiful, magnificent, wonderful Air Max 97 OG Silver Bullet. My personal favorite Air Max of all time. Originally dropped in 1997, hence the Air Max 97. This is a retro that I copped in, I want to say, 2016, 15, something like that. So this pair is like, we're getting close to the 10-year anniversary. And, I keep them clean. Got to keep them clean. They ain't 10s yet, but we keep them clean like they say. But the history of the Air Max 97, the Silver Bullet, designer Christian Tresser said his inspiration came from nature. A lot of people thought that it came from like an inspiration from the Japanese bullet trains. This was a lot of the saying back in the day, but actually he did an interview and he said that it came from the ripples that were created when water drops into a pond. Water would drop and radiate out to the air unit. And if you really look at the shoe, it kind of has that ripple effect. And it's so beautiful because you have the reflectors going all around it. And this was a big first for Nike because this was one of the first shoes, besides the Air Max Uptempo 97, that showed you the full Air Max bag. Like, this wasn't something we had seen. This shoe was revolutionary. Do you understand that? Like, seriously, like revolutionary. Like Air Max 95, you had the full bag, but you had the, those little ridges in that midsole that kind of took away from seeing the full bag. This was the first time you got to actually see the full bag. I never forget when the shoe came out. And shout out to Ravioli in Kings Plaza. If you're a friend of the program, you heard me mention this man's name before, but he used to get us those shoes early. So I had these shoes about a week and a half before they came out, and people was like, yo, what are those? Like, that's crazy. But again, 97, great year. Shout out to the Air Max 97s that dropped that year. Shout out to the Foamposites that dropped that year. My two favorite shoes, like my favorite Air Max and my favorite basketball shoe, both came out in 1997. So shout out to those. But that's today's Kicks Corner. We're going to go ahead and now pivot to what do you want to talk about? I'm going to bring in Big Fan Breezy. I'm going to bring in This Is Jay. And let them go ahead and, what do you fellas want to talk about, man? Thank you guys for joining the program. What's on the agenda and docket for the day? If either one of you fine gentlemen want to unmute yourselves. Well, I'll go ahead and I'll kick things off. And when y'all ready to, kind of piggyback on this, because I know this is a topic we all want to talk about. Let's talk about the Mikal Bridges trade. I mentioned it earlier. Mikal Bridges just acquired from the Brooklyn Nets a year and a half ago, approximately. The centerpiece in the Kevin Durant trade. And basically, he played good. And then all of a sudden, he couldn't play good in the next season. Like, he played really good in the half a season that he was with the Nets when he first came over from the trade. And then all of a sudden, after that, like, I don't know. He just didn't really play all that good last season. And
he showed his true colors. That's what happened.
Like, I don't know, maybe the pressure was a little bit too much because pressure does one or two things. It either creates a diamond or completely crumbles the whole package. So I'm guessing the latter of the two happened, and your guy, I'll call him your guy, Sean Marks. He finally made a correct decision.
Yo, man, Modelo's on Sean Marks, man. Modelo's on Marks, man. He must have got tired of people saying fire him.
Shit, I hope so. And honestly, like, I would buy him a Modelo after making this move. Like, I got no problem buying that man a drink after making this move because this move is huge.
He fuck with the Modelos.
Get him a Modelo and get him a shot of some Don Julio Añejo. He'll appreciate that.
But yeah, man, Mid-Cal is out of here, man.
So
and the crazy shit is Nets fans made up the nickname Mid-Cal.
and that's the thing, like, that's when you know a guy isn't coming to produce. And shout out to anybody in Brooklyn who, we just different. Anybody from Brooklyn, we different. We're clever, we're witty. Mid-Cal fits. We don't do mids. We don't like mids. Only mids we like is some Jordan 1s. That's it. So, like, shout out to us for coming up with that name, and shout out to, like I said, Sean Marks. I never thought I'd say this on this program. Shout out to Sean Marks.
I didn't think you'd ever give a Sean Marks shout out on this pod.
For real, shout out to Sean Marks for making that happen. So, I mean, 5 first-round picks, a pick swap, a second-round pick, and then also a proven knockdown shooter that if we truly are in rebuild mode, like this move has shown, we're probably going to wind up flipping him somewhere near the trade deadline for another first-round pick. So we eventually going to get 6 first-round picks out this deal. So, holy shit, great deal.
Yeah, I wasn't mad at it.
No, it's a great deal. I don't know how, and I saw that ESPN gave the Knicks a B for this trade. I don't know how I feel about that. There's no way in hell this is a B for them. This is like a C, maybe C plus.
No, because for them, it's not just about this trade. It's about it's not just about Mid-Cal. It's about what Mid-Cal does for them in this grand scheme of things, because they want to get the Nova boys back together. They keep him OG. They might still have Julius Randle. So if Mid-Cal could be the mid guy that he's supposed to be, he might help them.
Yeah, a great number 3 option. He proved that in Phoenix when he was with Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, Chris Paul. He was like that 3rd, 4th kind of option on that team. And now he kind of gets to be that too. But here's the thing that I want to pose to y'all real quick. Like, let's put our short pants hat on, if that even makes sense to some of y'all out there. But, Knickerbockers are short pants. So let's put our Knicks hat on. And I think that they got too much of nothing going on now, if that makes sense.
I'm always thinking that the Knicks gonna fuck up. So anything negative you want to say about them, word.
Nah, but here's my point here. Like, so I like, now that I'm looking at this team, the way it's constructed, unless they make a move or two, which they still have plenty of time to do that, they remind me of the Atlanta Hawks from, like, let's say 12 years ago, where they were all like the same height. Like, every player at every position was pretty much the same height, and they all kind of did the same thing, and none of them did anything like really, really great. So that team had like Jeff Teague, and then they had like Joe Johnson, Al Horford, Josh Smith. There was another dude too. They was all like the same height, like 6'7". I used to actually call them the Atlanta 6'7s. on the Double Play Sports Hour that Breeze was talking about earlier. Like I called them the Atlantic 6-7s. Like the Knicks kind of remind me of a new version of them. It's just that Jalen Brunson is a step above Jeff Teague. And that team, if you remember, they didn't really accomplish much of shit but go to the playoffs every year and get knocked out like first, second round every year, which is why Al Horford is just now getting the championship in his 17th season now with the Celtics. Shout out to him for that. What y'all think about that?
Just shout out to Alejandro. I mean, when you watch Horford and you see him play, you forget that he's Spanish or Panamanian, whatever he is.
I think Dominican, right?
It's something, but I thought he was just black. Nigga named Al Horford.
No air bombs.
I thought the man was just black.
Yeah, nah, he from Dominican Republic. Somebody, Jay, where I work at, bro, they got they from DR. They was celebrating.
Yeah.
You said it's a joyous occasion, Jay. What's going on, man?
Mikal Bridges got traded.
This dude is the happiest dude in the world, man.
Mikal Bridges got traded. Yo, I'm telling you, from the first time he came to the Barclays, it was a bad omen. He started talking about Madison Square Garden. I was like, yo, this dude, what does that even got to do with the question? You talk about, I love New York. We played at the Garden. So go to the Garden then, dude. What are you talking about?
Go get some dandelions and shit, man. I'm saying.
I was confused when he said that. I'm like, this the guy we traded for?
Word, he didn't even want to be here. I honestly,
so we was equal.
He just wanted to be closer to his buddies, and now they get to all be on the same team. I'm happy for them for that, absolutely. But I don't want to see the Knicks do good. I'm being 100% honest. I've never been a Knicks fan. Strong talker.
The way I see it with Mikal, they can only get worse.
I don't know if they could get worse. I mean, I think he definitely helps the team in the fact that he's another Tibbs type guy to where he plays defense. He's not really looking for the spotlight. I think he fits on that team, honestly, way better than he fit on our team because the role that he's asked to play. He's basically going to be asked to play the same role that he played at Villanova, the same role that he played in Phoenix. Like in Brooklyn, we were asking him to play a different type of role. And I think that, and this is why I talk shit about Sean Marks. I think Sean Marks saw something that wasn't there that maybe he could develop into that guy. But he didn't show you he was that guy at Villanova. He didn't show you he was that guy in Phoenix. So why did you think he was going to be that guy here?
Yeah, I agree with you, P. I think they were wrong for giving him that number one option, but it smelled like treachery. Yo, let me ask you this, P, because remember I was watching this 30 for 30 with you, and you was showing me how, I forget how it played out. I think it was the Colts. They left Baltimore, or the Baltimore left the Colts. It was the football, and I thought of Mikal Bridges when I thought of that. I said, this is treacherous, man. This is straight betrayal. Now, to your point, he does fit better, but he never gave it his all here. He was physically putting on a Brooklyn Nets jersey, but mentally he was a Knick since he got to New York.
Yo, he was that SpongeBob meme. Do you remember like the SpongeBob meme where these motherfuckers looking out the window, at them playing and shit, having fun? Like that was him in the Barclays looking across the river at these motherfuckers playing in the garden like, I want to go play with them.
And he an idiot because when he was playing for the Nets, he lived in Manhattan. Now he playing for Manhattan. He live in Brooklyn. He's an idiot.
That don't make no sense.
Right.
And on top of that, I feel like I want to make a susu or something to figure out when Thibodeau is going make Mikal miss a game. Because I don't think this Iron Man streak goes through this season with the Knicks.
Oh no, because he's gonna be playing 46.95 minutes a game.
Yeah, and he's
gonna run him down.
He's gonna run him down. I feel like he's the one who makes Mikal miss a game. He's the only one that could break this streak.
So you can do it.
Here's an interesting thing I want to throw out here to y'all real quick. So I seen something where they gave the over under for what the Knicks record has to be by Christmas in order for Tibbs not to get fired and the Knicks to hire Jay Wright to coach the team. And that the record was like, it was something like, I think if they was 10-15 by Christmas, they was gonna fire Tibbs and hire Jay Wright. And for those who don't know, Jay Wright was the coach of Villanova, where now 4 of these dudes played, where they won 2 championships in like 2 or 3 years.
Oh wow!
So what y'all think about that? Like if the Knicks start off 10-15, they firing Tibbs and hiring Jay Wright.
I think if they fire Tibbs, that's sad. You know what I mean? And if they hire Jay Wright and they do good up until the second round and lose, as a Nets fan, I would be happy about that. You know, I would be elated.
They could hire Jay Wright, J. Cole, Jay-Z. I don't care. But they still gonna lose.
If they hire J. Cole, they might take shots at people and then apologize.
Yeah.
Pop shit and apologize. Just ask Kiss. Like Nas said, man.
Right. But
yeah, no,
they still will lose. They're gonna find a way to nick it up somehow. It always happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but as a Nets fan, I was glad to see him leave. And what I will say, far as talent is one thing, but morale means a lot. You know,
I can't wait to hear the boos in the Barclays when he come back.
Yo, Jay, somebody asked me, they said, oh, I can't wait for Mikal to come back and get his tribute. I said, nah, he gonna get a booze. He gonna get a bunch of booze.
Yo, you know what we should do, man, for real. Like and you know, I got no problems trying to start a movement. Like I'm not bashful. But I think like everybody should come to the game with a bag of some real bush, like a nickel bag. It don't gotta be nothing, you know, like crazy. Like don't spend your hard-earned money to waste it, but like just a nickel bag of some bush. And as they announce him to come on the court, everybody just throw that mid-bud on the court just for Mikal.
Yeah, I ain't mad at that. Hit him right in the head with it.
Yo, everybody just throw a little nickel bag of some garbage, man. It could even be oregano. We don't gotta know, you know.
Yeah, just gotta have aesthetic.
Yeah. Yo, I say let's do it, man. When the schedule come out, let's try to rally and make this happen, man.
Yeah, nah, man, I'm all for it, man. He was bad here, man. And he complained about the fans. He like, yo, I felt like I was in the garden. Like, bro, you wish you was in the garden. You know what I'm saying? Talking about when he was at the Barclays at the free throw line. Like, I remember Dave Chappelle. He said, "I wish all of the bad things happened to you."
Well, I don't wish him no injury. I don't mean it like that. On behalf of all of us, man. Like no injuries and nothing like that. But yo, I hope you miss every layup that like I know you can. Like I know you capable of missing every layup. Like I hope that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I hope he have bad basketball games, man, because he didn't have no heart as a Zaya when he played for us. He looked like he was just going to work, calling his friends after work, like, yo, I wish I was with y'all, you know what I'm saying? I think he made the brand of basketball look bad for the Brooklyn Nets, and I don't forgive him for that shit, man. I hope that
basketball version of the 10-man, stiff and no heart.
Facts, man. He was terrible, man. And at the end of the day, he didn't even go far. I think this intensifies the rivalry. You know, if there was never a rivalry between the Nets, I almost said nuts, pardon. Between the Nets and the Knicks, now it is. This do y'all agree with me that it intensifies the rivalry, or I'm just gassing it?
No,
Not really.
absolutely, bro. No, here's why I disagree with you, Jay. And I'm gonna let you say your piece right after this. Do you know this is the first trade since 1983 that the Knicks and the Nets have made between each other?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
1983. This absolutely ratchets up that rivalry.
Yeah, I don't think it does because they just gave us mad stuff. Good looking. Thank you. I'm happy.
Yeah, we got 6 first round draft picks. Essentially,
Yeah.
once we
Like
trade Bogdanovich for a first round.
Wasn't nobody else gonna give us 6 first round draft picks for that bum?
And also we took the name Brooklyn Bridges from him. He not even Manhattan Bridge, man. He like a toll bridge. You know what I'm saying? Like you
no toll bridge. You don't got to pay to cross him.
Word.
You can cross him for free. How many NBA players showed him that you could cross him for free?
He could be Verrazano Bridges.
Right. And on to add to that, before he got here, we was Jay, we was up on the Knicks by 4 wins. And what he do? He made sure it was tied before he left.
So like he was point shaving.
Canoodling.
Yo, I've been saying he was point shaving. He had his worst games against them niggas. And then he was out there smiling.
No M-bombs.
Oh, my fault. I'll be saying that shit.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, no M-bombs. We don't want to make anyone feel excluded.
All right.
Where Mikal Bridges, I just want to let you know that you did a disservice to the Brooklyn Nets fans, and you know I don't like you. You know, I mean, I wish you.
Yo, he just threw the PSA out there. Nah, I love that right there, though, man. That was authenticity at its finest, man.
Well, we've been talking bad about you all day, Mikal Bridges, and it will continue. When I'm done with this, I'm going to talk more shit. Pardon my language. I'm going to talk more.
You can say that.
I'm going to let it fly like LaGuardia as soon as I get a chance. But I'll say this in closing. Mikal Bridges, you know damn well that you ain't play with no heart when you was with the Brooklyn Nets, and you put on the jersey 82 games, but you shouldn't even have played 82 games. You got that stupid ass record of not missing no games, but when you was in the game, it looked like you wasn't in the game. You was shooting us out of games. You was making everybody. You was not no defender. You got cooked by everybody and anybody's. Anthony Simons, Terry Rozier, Trae Young dropped 40 on you on your head top. He had a game winner on you. You were no good to us. I'm glad you're gone, bro. I can't wait to beat y'all again, man. I can't wait to beat the Knicks again, man. I'm serious, man, because he did us unjust, and I think, yeah, man, you're gonna get your ass kicked next time you come to the Barclays, man. That's all I got for you, Mikal Bridges. I got no love for you at all, man. Word.
No, and I love that right there, man. That right there is authenticity, and that's exactly why y'all should check out Big Fan Breezy with the Brooklyn Net Vlog, because that's the type of shit that you're gonna get from there. Is authentic fan talk, passion, reality. So that right there is exactly why I tune in anytime you get a chance. Check it out on YouTube. But yo, let's talk about this draft real quick, y'all.
Yeah.
First pick, Zachary. I'm trying not to butcher his name. Let me go back. Zachary Richard from France was the #1 overall pick. The Atlanta Hawks picked him. Small forward, 6'9", about 200 pounds. Seems pretty versatile. I guess the Hawks got the right dude for that pick. There was, talk all coming up into the draft that it was between 2 Frenchmen that was going to be the top pick, him and Alex Sarr. Alex Sarr actually went #2 to the Wizards, power forward, small forward. So the Hawks figured the small forward was the way to go. Any thoughts on, any of that? The fact that 2 French guys right after Victor Wembanyama was the #1 pick last year coming from France. That's kind of crazy. I think it's French Revolution going on over there in France right now with basketball.
Yeah, I think internationally basketball has grown over the years, mainly because of the Olympics, which is this year as well. And going way back to Petrovic and
And it's in
Kukoc
France this year too.
and France. Wow. Okay,
So
that's
yo,
what's up.
that French team might be stacked now that we thinking about that.
They're gonna be competitive, man.
Yeah.
I think that I like how basketball is touching the world. I like how it's international. I don't mind that these players are from France. Talent is talent. Basketball is basketball. Either you the best or you not. You know what I mean? And you get to showcase that in the NBA where the best basketball players play. You see they get drafted to the league. I'm interested to see what they got. You know what I'm saying? I like the merge between or not merge, but I like the fact that the NBA is sorting out talent outside of the USA. I think international basketball just grows the league and it grows the game. And I'm here for it, bro. I don't necessarily follow college basketball like that, but to your point, P, I'm glad that it's an international pick. I don't I think the players from these international teams of France and abroad, they make the league better. I don't think they make it worse. I think they make it better. So I'm a fan of it, to be honest.
Word. Yo, Jay, any thoughts on the French Revolution going on? And I'm just looking at this now. The sixth pick in the draft by the Hornets. I'm gonna totally butcher this name. Tijane Solo Song, also from France. So 3 of the top 6 picks from France.
I don't know none of these dudes, man. It's a copycat. It's a copycat league. They seen Wemby last year. They see Rudy Gobert. They like, yo, let's see what up in France. That's what I think it is. They probably good because the dude Alex, his brother is in the league.
Yeah.
Alex saw his brother is in the league, and he was crying once he got picked because he was like, yeah. I know what it's like to go undrafted and to be a lottery pick or top. That's crazy to me right now. I'm like, word, that's fire. But I was just listening for the names of the people that I have been looking at, like Rob Dillingham and I think Stephen Castle, I think his name is. And,
Yeah, he went to the Spurs.
and Zach Edey went to Memphis.
The
Yeah.
Spurs drafted 2 point guards. They drafted Castle from UConn, and then they also drafted Rob Dillingham from Kentucky. So shout out to them because they basically figured, hey, one of y'all two is gonna work at point because we need a point guard to go with Wemby. So that might be a smart move by them. Hopefully they don't do Minnesota Timberwolves from back in the day where they had 2 picks. They drafted Ricky Rubio and Johnny Flynn in consecutive picks, I think 4th and 5th or 5th and 6th, and then left Steph Curry on the board, and Golden State swapped them up at 8 or 9. So hopefully they didn't do one of those. Hopefully they actually got their guy with one of those 2 point guards.
Well, anything is better than having Jeremy Sohan at point guard.
Yeah, he was suspect.
So trash.
Wow. He's a good small forward, power forward.
Yeah, because he's not a point guard. They just had him doing it.
Yeah.
Because their point guard was worse.
Yeah, Edey went to Memphis. We'll see how that plays out. I think they reached for him there because I don't know if he's a top 10 player, but we'll see. College top 10 player, definitely, but NBA talent-wise, we'll see. But yeah, other than that, I mean, this was a real weak draft. I like the kid Tristan Da Silva from Colorado. Orlando took him at 18. He was getting buckets in the tournament. I liked him a lot. Colorado actually surprised a couple of people. The shooting guard, who was their best player all year, Cody Williams, got picked 10th by Utah. But I like Da Silva a lot. I liked a lot of the stuff that I saw from him. And I think, throwing him in that young Orlando team where they got some good things cooking right there, that could be pretty solid for them.
Okay.
Oh, Dalton Neck went to the Lakers from Tennessee. He was solid. We'll see. I'm interested to see where Bronny goes.
What you said his name is?
Dalton Neck with a K. Yeah. Yeah, with a K. But you know, K is solid.
Dalton neck is crazy.
Oh man. But nah. So yeah, that's the NBA draft. You know, it's still going on right now as we speak. Milwaukee is
Yo,
at number
I hope
2.
he don't meet Grady Dick. If that jersey swap is insane.
Oh man. Wildest jersey swap ever, man. But nah, we about to wrap things up here. Y'all, I appreciate you, Jay, for coming through. I appreciate Breeze for coming through. And then also Jay, we got the theme music going. So
Nah, I heard it.
I was about to say I definitely gotta play it while you still on as part of the outro, man. But shout out to y'all. Yo, this week's drop a gem on y'all, man. Real quick before we go. Short and sweet. Just don't overwhelm yourself, man. Like, don't put too much shit on your plate. Like, it's a lot of things going on in life. We want to accomplish a lot of things, but sometimes we put too much stuff on our plate and it gets overwhelming. So, you know, just take a deep breath, smoke a spliff if you smoke, get a drink if you drink, take a deep breath if you meditate. Whatever you need to do, just don't overwhelm yourself. We'll get through this shit. So, shout out to y'all for tuning in. Kitchen Sink, episode 3, third time's a charm. And we're going to leave y'all with this intro. Shout out to This Is Jay for lacing us.
Word. It's the kitchen. It's the kitchen sink, man. Just synced up. Sync that beat up.